Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to.
Join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical, transformational journey.
Welcome back to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is pod number 119. That's 119. My name is Jay, and I'm here, as always, with my co-hostess with the mostest, Lita Herman.
Hello, everyone.
Come on down.
Today, we are continuing our 5-part series on taking a deeper dive into the 5 elements, both for our new listeners and those who have been with us from the very beginning. Thank you so much.
No hello, Inspired Actioneers?
Oh, I guess. Hello, Inspired Actioneers.
Hello, Inspired Actioneers.
I was just jumping right in because we have a really long podcast today, and it's super exciting because today we're going to unearth some of our earth secrets.
Maybe. We never know.
We never know.
Right? We might get some secrets out.
Okay.
But, I'm kind of joking because the funny thing about earth is they love to share their deep, dark secrets. They love to hear them. They love to share them. And they love this truth. We're going to talk a lot about truth today. And they actually love to tell people their secrets, air quote. That's the first one of the day, air quote, secrets. If they can get someone, here's the trick, to actually listen.
Yes.
And they have a high standard for listening.
I guess that's secret number 1, Jay.
There
We're
you
already
go.
there.
Boom. So if you nothing else, we got one.
They want so much that someone would love to listen to what they have to say.
And they do have a little bit of, varying, levels of what they think is good listening. For other people, they're really good listeners.
Well, that's their superpower.
Right.
They're the best.
Yeah, they're good listeners. Usually, I'm going to say usually. Don't get mad at me, Earth, because sometimes you're not. But most of the time they are.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I've ever met an earth person who's not a good listener.
They may not be in the mood to listen. They might be
that's
angry.
True. They
might be in a hurry. They might be thinking about other people. They might not listen because they think they're going to take up too much of your time.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Yes. Well, I just want to say, just to start, that earths are some of my favorite people in the world.
Well, yeah, that's because earth and fire play so nicely in the elemental sandbox and the play yard together.
Yes, we do play nicely. We love to talk. We love to share. Fires love earths because every element loves the element that's next on the Shen nourishing cycle diagram. You know that diagram? If you've been on our website, you'll see that all the elements are in a wonderful little circle. That's the nourishing cycle.
I do think that fires love earth because they listen to them talk about themselves.
That's it.
Right? And they don't complain. They just sit there and listen, playing in the sand, and the fires go on. And like, ooh, I got a best friend. They're listening.
That's it. Fire loves a best friend.
There you go. Yes. Well, okay, so not everyone might not know what you're talking about, the Shen nourishing cycle diagram. Let's throw that in the show notes so people can get a little catch up on that in case they don't know that. Yes.
Yes. And earths get along really well with fires and metals because next to earth on the other side of that diagram is the metals. So they might have a bit more of a challenge with the woods and the waters.
Yeah, and I think wood and water is the opposite of earth. So sometimes it can be challenging.
Yes. And every element has 2 that are easy to get along with and 2 elements that might be a little more challenging. So that's true for all the elements. It's not just earth.
Yeah. And it's so cool. We jumped right in and started talking about who earths get along with, because oddly, that's so appropriate for earth because earth wants to get along with everyone.
Yes.
If they had their way, they'd get along with everyone.
Yes, and really they just want everyone to get along. They're like the social referees of the world. They encourage people. We need to give them a whistle or something.
I'm thinking about that.
They encourage people treating each other well and nicely, and they are the first to call out or bring attention to inappropriate behaviors.
I know, you made me think about, that referee thing, like a soccer match. You think the earth would love to just run up to someone and whip out a yellow card and say, hey, that was a little offense, or whip out a red card, ejected, go sit, take a timeout, right?
Yes.
Or we'll give them a whistle, like you said, slow down the madness, right, of inappropriate behaviors.
I think they'd love that as long as we all agreed that they have that role. Like they wouldn't do it in a mean way or an unkind way. But if we said, hey, Earth, please help referee the rest of us.
Whip out those cards.
Yeah.
Yellow. You're almost on the edge.
It's the ideal job for them. That would be a wonderful job function if it really existed.
And of course, it's called a soccer referee.
Yes, it is. I
Right?
guess there is really a soccer.
If you're a little rude, you get the yellow one. If you kick them with your cleats, like you get the out red one.
Yeah, there you
Right?
go.
So it's like, just play nice.
Yeah.
Just play nice.
And just to be fair, metal and wood can be also good referees because they also, metal's very persnickety about the rules.
Sure.
And wood hates when things are not fair. But that's not so much socially.
Right. So we're socially giving him the permission to whip out the cards.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Yeah.
Or,
Exactly.
Whee, blow. I don't have a whistle thing here. I blow whistle noise, whistle noise, whistle noise. That was on the route of being. That was rude. That was not nice.
Yes.
That's not. You hurt someone's feelings.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I like that social behavior referee.
Yes.
I
There
like
you
that.
go. And it's just like an elementary school teacher.
I get that. That was pretty good.
An elementary school teacher.
Yes, I did say I got that. Right?
Okay. I'm not sure I got it because when I started saying it, I didn't get it
You
yet.
really meant elementary, but then you went elementary. Okay, I will help you get your own joke.
Yes, I'm not very good at my own jokes.
Oh,
Anyway,
it was pretty good.
so yes, so
But actually, that was funnier than the joke.
yes, totally. But the other thing that's interesting about an elementary school teacher, which is the perfect earth job, I mean, one of many, they're very versatile, but the kids, they actually want to listen to them. Earth has a way of getting people to listen in that role when they're given the role to be a teacher.
Sure. I
They're
would
very
say
good.
that, also healers, a lot of healers
Yes.
are earth. But for
Yes.
the teachers, I mean, I remember back on my favorite teachers, and I didn't know at the time, but I'm certain that they were earth.
Yeah.
They just had that safe space. They were caring. They listened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good quality.
But one of the earth nightmares is to be a school teacher and have kids not listen. So I had I had someone that I was working with who was a school teacher who taught her whole life, but then the kids just stopped listening to the teachers. And, when that happened, she'd take them to the principal's office, but the parents didn't care. There was no punishment.
Welcome to the world today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would swear, they would hit each other, and there was nothing she could do. So she retired. She was like, I am out. If they're not going to listen to me, I'm out.
Yeah, I think that totally, that is an earth nightmare. No one listening to them, whether the kids or adults or teenagers, but anything that when people are not getting along or, we don't need to go into the metal respect thing, but still it has a lot to do with respect and getting along and holding that social, accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if the earth has no power to actually say to the kids, hey, this is how we're going to treat each other, this is inappropriate, that is the whole fundamental thing that earth wants to do with children. And they're very children focused. So that was a rough one.
I did see this video not that long ago, and it had a school teacher who I'm certain he looked very earthy, and he would stand there and he had some, this is when every day when the kids came to school, they could tap on a sign that said high five, hug, or just fist bump. And so when they come and they tap it and they'd hug the teacher or they'd high five the teacher or they fist bump the teacher and they entered the classroom every day like that.
Oh my God.
That is so
sweet.
earth. That's like a safe space. Like we see you, you're here.
Not only that, it's honoring their elements.
Right?
Other elemental types don't necessarily want that hug.
Right.
Wow.
It was so cool. So,
So
I'm like,
brilliant.
that to me is like, really earthy, wonderful, warm, huggy. I'm sure that guy was everyone's favorite teacher.
Well, if you're earth out there and you're a school teacher, that would be a good
right.
thing to think about.
I'll try to find it and put it in the show notes. But
Yeah, there you go.
I wish I had that when I was a kid. Ours was like, get in there and sit down and shut up. No, I'm joking. They were wonderful teachers.
Yeah.
I'm not really joking. I'm joking, not joking.
Okay. Well,
Some of them, I mean, back when I was in school, when we carved on stone tablets, they were nice, but they were like, this is what we're doing.
nobody questioned a teacher.
No.
Ever.
No. And if you did, right down to the principal's office. And guess what? You got in trouble with your parents.
Yeah.
Like if you had to get a parent to come to school or even talk on the phone, you were in deep doo-doo.
Big trouble.
right? Like now it's like,
Yeah.
it's like nothing. Like they won't even come talk to you. Like the parents are like, I'm working, you deal with it. It's like daycare,
Yep.
elementary daycare. Teachers are not going to like that.
No.
No, they want to teach the students.
Yeah.
So again, living nightmare. So let's shift a little bit from the nightmares of the earthly, realms there where they're not getting the love and the attention and like just the general compliance.
We want to go more for happy thoughts.
Let's go to happy thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in our world before we continue on with the earth.
Oh, good idea. Okay, so we've got some fun things for you coming up soon. And so
wait, how do you know they're fun?
Well, we're excited to announce an interview that we've got planned
Yes,
after we're done
that
with
is
the
definitely
series.
fun.
And we're really excited about that.
I mean, you got to define fun. Fun is like, is it a roller coaster ride? Or is it watching a video of an interview? Or is it like a nature hike? Or is it like doing homework as a meditation? Like, I'm just saying, like, fun is a big word. Don't set it up as like, fun.
Let's put it this way. For the listeners out there who are nerds like me and love the 5 elements and love alchemy and just can't get enough of it.
There you go.
Many of our
Nerdly
listeners
fun.
are nerds like me.
And me. I'm a pretty nerdy nerd.
And we've got a lot coming
I'm just
up.
a cooler nerd than you are.
Yes, you are very much cooler. So I just want to say there's a lot coming up in the podcast. We're working on this really fun redo of all the 5 elements. We've got some interviews coming up. We've got some new stuff after this series. So
yes, we got a lot going on.
Looking forward to that.
You can always sign up in the Learning Center for free access. Get some of the recorded meditations that are fun, a different kind of fun, right? Not roller coaster fun,
and we've
inside
been doing some
quiet fun.
Yes,
like your inside quiet fun voice.
Yes, and we want to announce that we just had a wonderful Valentine's Day event here and in the ALC.
And Lita, what was it called?
It was called Love and the 5 Elements.
How apropos.
So if you are a nerd like me and you just love
nerd,
the 5 elements, this is the perfect class for you. It's all about how we can have better relationships by understanding our partners, understanding, people we love in our lives, and just understand how those dynamics work in our relationships. Remember that circle we were talking about, that nourishing cycle. It also has control cycle and even insulting cycle issues. And this is all explained in this amazing little class, Love and the 5 Elements. And so you can check it out.
We did a long weekend class a few years back, so we did a very condensed version, but I think it was really covering a lot of the bases of like some of the things that are positive and a little more challenging. And I think we had people from all over the world, listen to it. Well, a lot of people now do the replay, so it's now a replay.
Yes.
So it's not live, but also I think that, anytime we're spreading love in the world, it's a good thing.
Yes.
But if love is not your thing, you can also check out we've been really busy, the one we just did before, the Flow and the Energy series.
Yes.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
It's called The Energetics of Flow, and it's really about all the ways your chi needs to flow in your body and sometimes gets little blocks, little obstacles, and how you can learn to basically get your chi flowing again. This is how acupuncturists and acupressurists do it, but we did it in a way that even you, if you're not a healer, can do this for yourself. It's a little bit like our Releasing Chaotic Energy class, which we also recommend, which is how you can clear some of the chaos in your system. And all of these classes are now available in the Alchemy Learning Center.
Yes. And on the last podcast, I just flew out a Flow 50 coupon. And I'm shocked, but there's actually people out there who did that. So that was great. So this week, let's spread a little bit of love. How about Love 20? Give $20 off the Love one.
Yes. So that makes it $25. So that's, really affordable. We hope you guys will enjoy it. It's packed full of information. You couldn't possibly ask for more. It's pretty thorough. So
I just want as many people as possible to get some loving in the 5 elements and, understand yourself, understand those around you. I say it all the time with our students. Like you have to fall in love with yourself first. So first you have to understand.
Yeah. And we didn't even mention that it has quite a lot in it about how to have hotter sex.
Yay!
So
yes,
basically,
what do we say? Deeper relationships, more meaningful relationships, and hotter sex.
Yes.
If that interests you out there,
yes,
then you should. It's worth it. So Love 20. Use that promo code. See what happens.
I think it's Love 20 off.
Love 20 off.
We'll put it
even
in the
better.
show notes.
Love 20 off.
All right.
Okay, great. So anyways, all of that good stuff. Plus we have meditations. We're posting new things all the time. We're planning our study groups, which are starting to come out soon. So you can just go to the alchemylearningcenter.com and check all that out. Also, podcast news. We have, like you already kind of hinted, we have a really good interview coming up that you did with a really cool healer, which we said who it is?
And Cecil Sturman.
Yay! One of our favorite people. So that's coming up soon. And that's going to be probably in the next week or two. We're just putting the final touches on that. So you can also, if you love any part, even like 1 second of the podcast, you could just please go over to Apple, give us a like or love. How many stars, how many apples they give you, I don't know.
Or even better, if you could even write a 2, 3, 4, 5-word review. You can write a book if you want, but just a review is actually really, really helpful.
And so that just helps us get the word out all over the world. So if you want to do your part in sharing the 5 elements and ghost points in alchemy, that's easy. You don't have to do anything. Just click, click, click.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we do appreciate it, and we read all the reviews and all the emails. Also, if you want to send your videos of your 5-element walk, we'll look at those, and we'll see if we can help you figure it out. So lots of good stuff. We're always here.
And Jay, we have not said this in a while, but if you write us a review, send us a copy of your review, and we will send you an Inspired Action t-shirt.
Yes, we will. Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
We'd love to do that. And thank you, everyone. And for those who have reached out for the t-shirts, we might even have some additional swag coming up. So
yes,
that would be fantastic.
All right.
We love giving away our stuff. So
good. All right.
We're just shocked that anyone wants to wear it besides us. Right.
So the Earths are waiting very patiently for us to
right?
continue.
Okay,
Should we
yes.
continue?
Yes. Okay, so we're off the nightmare of not listening and
the Earth nightmare
let's
of no one's
go to
listening.
some of the happier things. We just know that they're really good problem solvers.
So as part of being a problem solver, first, identify the problem.
And if you listen to this podcast, I often correct Lita or correct myself. We don't like the word problem. We say challenges because Wood thinks of problems as challenges, and that just needs to be overcome. And Earth think of problems that need to be solved. See the difference? Overcome and solved. So the Earth spin on it is they like to take those challenges and solve them.
Yes. And it's the same thing, but a very different vibe, a very different approach to moving through that challenge/problem. Wood surmounts a challenge like surmounting a mountain, and Earths dig into a problem and really break it down. Like the stomach digests food. They digest it into bits, and then they come up with the solution.
Ew, don't like that.
Well, of course, because you're wood. You just want to climb the mountain and be done with it. But it's a much longer and more tedious approach. Both work and both have a very important role in the world. We need both approaches to make the world go round.
Well, I think that I don't know. Do they think it's tedious?
No, they love it.
I
It's
know.
exciting for them to dig into something like that.
Well, I feel like, that is maybe patience. Wood doesn't have a lot of patience.
No.
Earth has a lot of patience.
Good point.
Right? So that I think that they would not think it's tedious, and they would just, think it takes the appropriate amount of time
Right.
to get something digested.
Right. And if we just take a step back for a minute, let's just look at this element from a really big vantage point,
How big?
like 40,000 feet up.
Oh, gosh, that's really high. Okay.
So when we look at wood, we said they really want to leave the world a better place in the Wood podcast. So if you haven't heard the Wood podcast,
What podcast number is that?
Go back to 117 and listen to that. And then in the Fire podcast,
What podcast is that?
that episode was 118.
I'm just testing you. It's only 2 podcasts ago.
And in Fire, we said from that really big vantage point that Fires wanted to bring more love into the world. They wanted to make the world a more loving and light-filled place.
Yeah, and I think, I'm just going to jump in here and say that I think Earth loves the word harmony, a harmonious place, right?
Yes.
Why can't we all just get along?
Yes.
Harmonious, right? So there's the Earth piece of that.
Yes, and they really want us to get along in a way that it's totally okay to have differences, but we can work it out.
Sounds like a Beatles song.
We can work it out. And that's similar to fire.
That was really bad. People are like, oh my God, the Beatles are like, no, that's not what we ever intended.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe put the real Beatles song right here.
We can work it out. We can work it out.
So, and that's similar to fire in that fire's desire to bring more love into the world is kind of similar to Earth wanting more harmony in the world.
So is the harmony a secret? Or is it just like...
No, I think this is just really the crux of it all.
Okay.
Earth is more focused on the truth and people's feelings and giving everyone a chance to speak about their feelings and even allow for difficult feelings. And then through speaking about them, then there's healing and harmony ultimately.
Yeah, I like that. And that's this whole perspective of Earth. Life is maybe hard and we need to have feelings about life being hard. And we all need to talk about those feelings so then we can heal and transform and it's not hard anymore.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That's exactly it. And so transformation is a huge function of Earth, even in the basic bodily function of digestion.
Again with that.
Which
Again
is
with
Earth.
that.
We got to talk about the stomach.
So we talk about what they eat for lunch and what they eat for dinner.
No,
they
it's
eat
about-
problems for lunch and challenges for dinner.
Yes. So how does all that food we eat become useful to our body? That's Earth's job.
Yeah, so we really can't emphasize enough this big picture perspective of, you know, if you get this about yourself, if you're Earth or one of your Earth loved ones, this is a game changer because Earths are miracle workers and sometimes they can be slightly annoying for others who don't want to do this emotional thing. Like there's other elements who don't understand why they focus so much on feelings. Nothing more than feelings.
Feelings. For my life, I'll feel it.
So once you understand Earth, that's got to be a secret.
Yeah.
Okay, like they're
There
into
you go.
the feelings.
Yes.
So you'll be so much more grateful that someone actually cares and they want to help you, air quotes number 2, help you work through your stuff. And that's Earth.
That's why so many Earths are psychologists or healers or teachers. That really is the role of all of those vocations.
Yes, that is like the big picture. And that is, you know, how like whole society functions in a harmonious way. But let's get into a little nitty gritty here.
Yeah. So first, very simply, let's go back to yin and yang because we've talked about that in each of these episodes. Yin and yang in Earth people is absolutely balanced. So this is the only one of all the elements where yin and yang are balanced on the inside and on the outside. So that
Sounds harmonious to me.
Yeah. And so, you know, that we've done 2 yang elements. We did wood, which had yang on the outside, yin on the inside. We had fire, which had double yang on the outside, yang on the inside. Now we're getting into this even-keeled earth element.
That's why they can get along with everyone.
Yeah, that's why they get along with everyone. They can do yin and they can do yang. And then when we get to water and metal, we'll be talking about the yin elements.
Yeah, and they just have this like sweet, softy goodness
Yes.
when they're in a happy place,
Yes.
you know, that I just love about Earth people.
Yeah, and we call this the mysterious 5th element. It's like there are 4 seasons and each element is associated with a season. So what do we do with the fact that we have 5 elements and 4 seasons? It's about the transitions between each season. So if you look at the harvest time, like late August, September, that's the time when all the vegetables are ready to be picked, they're ripe, they're ready to go. And it's a transition between summer, all that growing and all that maturing, and fall, when everything falls back to the earth and is done growing.
And what do
so-
you do with all that food that's fallen and now grown?
Well, you give it away.
Share it.
Yes, you share it because Earth is about that community, that sharing where everyone, you know, Earth makes the world go round. It holds the center for all of us. And it's almost like we literally fly off the planet without the grounding of our Earths. And without Earth, nothing would get done. So It's all about family, community, sharing. And
Good
so,
stuff that holds us all together.
right. So the harvest season is like the ideal time where Earth can say, hey, I worked all summer. I grew these vegetables. Please share them with me. Have a little dinner party, drink a little wine, have some good conversation. That's what they love.
Yeah, they love to listen
Yeah.
at the dinner thing. So yeah, that's great. I think we always need more of that, right?
Yes.
We need more of that in the world. We live this fast-paced life, and those are the things we really need to, in my opinion, get back to more if you have that lacking.
And we begin to depend on Earth for this function. It's like if if you have an Earth person in your family, they're the ones who do stuff. We call them the love Sherpers.
They don't like that, by the way. I love that, but they don't like that.
I don't know why.
That was one of the first times I got in trouble with the Earth people. I have a whole list of why the Earth people are like, Jay, I would be getting red cards.
That's because you're wood. And remember, Earth and wood are
If you say it, they like it. If I
know.
say it, I'm a beep.
Well, I'm just going to say why I like that term.
I love the love
I
Sherpa.
love the love Sherpa because it's like they have a backpack and they're going to carry your stuff up the mountain for
burden.
you. The
Giant.
burden,
They're one step of a heavy step at a time.
So they're the ones who show up day after day after day for their family, for their partner, for their children, for their, elderly parents, whoever it is, they're there doing it. And we all start to depend on that. They carry those heavy loads.
The Sherpa, the love Sherpa.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is a little different than the metal service, but it's
Yes.
very similar.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
And so, the other thing is they love to be social.
How about the social Sherpa?
Yeah, there you go. And so they'll have
Could be a little fiery there, though.
Yeah.
But the social Sherpa with the earth twist.
Yeah, so they'll have a lot of, parties, a lot of family parties, extended family parties, sometimes friends.
I think they call those dinner parties.
Yes, dinner parties. And
With all the vegetables they grew.
Yes, and they're natural hosts. So they love to host people. And it's weird, they're introverted and extroverted both because they love their alone time, but this, desire to be in community is definitely an Earth thing.
Yeah, and they love to be centered around their families, whereas
Yeah.
maybe fiery people are a little more self-centered. And I said that social thing was close, but they like to be really centered around their families and their loved ones. And they love to bring more people into that circle. As the circle gets bigger, they get happier.
Yeah. And remember, all of that sharing, all of that abundance that they love to give away, that comes with hard work and dedication. It's not just that they carry the burdens, they actually do the hard work. It's dedication, it's thinking everything through, all the thought that goes into a garden. Where are you going to place the vegetables so they grow well together? How much do you need to water it? I mean, you could go on and on about gardening, but
That was just two steps.
that was only two things.
Oh my God. I could tell you're not the gardener here.
No, I ran out of things.
You could do seed preparation.
you.
You could get the catalog and thoughtfully look through it for weeks at a time, defining which variety and what zone you're in and what time of the year, and trying to get the soil prepped.
Yes.
And where's the sun going to go across the sky?
Yes. Well, now we're getting a little into wood. That might be a little too much for an Earth person.
Have you seen a seed catalog? It's like earth.
Yes.
Like oozing earthness.
I know, but James,
But I'm going to say maybe the planning
I
part
think the
was.
sun and all that, maybe we're getting into wood realm where they do a lot of research outside of the seed catalog.
That's true. Maybe
and,
the earth person's like, there's the sunny spot. That's where it's going.
and we talked about this.
I don't know. Is that true? Like, there it is right there.
Yeah, exactly.
know.
Exactly. We talked about this in the Love and Five Elements workshop in the ALC where, wood and earth have a lot of similarities, even though they're opposites.
I'll give you a quick wood secret, even though we're doing earth. I have an app that shows me where the sun's going to go across the sky. So I know in my yard where the sun's going to go.
And earth is like, look, there's the sun.
Because we've been planting there for 20 years and the vegetables grow.
Right, exactly.
Right. And that's where I love to see the flowers right there. So
Yes.
you can take that app and bleep. No. They love technology too.
All right. So if we think about how the world is built on the earth's backbone, it's because they're the hard workers. And I mean, it's not that the other four elements aren't hard workers, but they definitely can't really hold a candle to the earth.
No, and the earth will pick up the
elements.
slack gladly. They'll do extra help to stay to the end to help clean up. They're always the ones doing the dishes or picking up or asking if there's more that they can do. They're so sweet. They're so kind.
In a community, they are the best. And they give without expecting anything back. They don't really need the gratitude. They love having a little gratitude. It's kind of a really nice thing. And so sometimes they get disappointed because the rest of the world, they're takers
Yeah,
sometimes.
think about the tree with all the fruit that's ripe. They just take it, but the tree freely gives.
Yes, it freely gives. And so let's think more about how earths are also very thoughtful in the
Another
way.
great word.
Yeah, in
Yes.
the way they give, for example, they like to think things through and evaluate people and what they might want and how to make relationships better overall. So they're the best gift givers.
How about thoughtfulness as a gift?
Yes.
Right? The gift that
It
keeps
is.
on giving.
Definitely. And so, if
Try to
you-
go to Target and find where's the thoughtfulness gift. Right? There's no aisle that has to come from the heart. Right?
There you go. There's no aisle. I like that because that's what a fire person would do.
Right. Where is it? Give it to me. Aisle 6. Give me anything you got.
Get in and out quick. Get
Right.
that
But
gift.
thoughtfulness.
So you might notice this if you go to one of your earth people's parties, dinner parties.
Lucky you.
You're going to see many touches, like these little touches that makes it, known that they really put some thought into this. They didn't just throw it together. They planned it. And so it's got some amazing qualities, the way they put things together. They're just wonderful, like I said, hosts and hostesses of the world. And it's serious business. They like to do this. This is what they put their attention in. So you could think about that in terms of how Earth presents in the world. That
They like to
thoughtfulness.
laugh and joke with the rest of us, but they are a little more serious, especially when it comes to a party.
Yes.
Not like a fire party, but like a social dinner party, soiree.
Oh my
whatever you wanna
God.
say.
If an Earth person plans a wedding, believe me, it is a huge undertaking.
It could take him a year.
It would take definitely
Maybe
a
2
year.
years.
Yes. So there's so much thought that goes into that. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to have the best little gifts to take home. It's going to, everything, the ceremony,
Thoughtfulness.
everything is going to be thoughtful.
Thoughtfulness, right?
And they love to learn because, thoughtfulness, you need to feed that a little bit. You need to have things to think about. So learning is really important to Earth people. They love to go to workshops and they love to go to workshops about people. They like to learn about people.
And emotions and relationships and how to make everyone more harmonious.
Right. There you go. And so we also talked again about the digestion.
boy.
The other thing The other thing to remember is to slow down because we're all in such a rush these days and Earth people are like, you can't rush digestion. You might gobble it down, probably if you're fire, and you eat too fast and then you expect your gut to digest all that. So, even going through our podcast too fast, like why? Savor it. Go through slowly, learn it.
Slow it down.
You have
just relax.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, you have to digest all these ideas. You have to assimilate it. You have to integrate it into your life. So that would be an Earth perspective is, I know many people like binge on really cool stuff and they go fast and that's not the Earth way. It's slow down, relax, and listen
Yes.
and learn.
And learn. And get along with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is they like to play supporting roles in the world. They're the supporting actresses and actors of the world. They help others make it big. They're, as these listeners, as these, people who maybe, like we said, are into psychology, healing, teaching, hospitality, philosophy, or just take a hairstylist, for example. Those are some of the best listeners
Which
on
is
the
a very
planet.
important role for
Very-
many, many people,
Yeah,
right?
very important. And so that supporting role, if the actor's going out on stage, they need their hair to be good. The person needs to listen to what
I meant
they
in
want.
day-to-day life, we all
Yes.
want our hair done, right?
Yes, exactly.
And what do you do when you go to the hairstylist? You listen. They listen to you.
Yes.
You tell them, like, you think, like, oh my God, they're like really listening. They do that 20 times a day,
Yeah.
and they do it really well.
They do it really well. And I mean, a psychologist is probably the best example of being a good listener. They built a whole career on listening. And so it's, again, supportive. It's how do I support the people around me? That's what Earth is doing. And what does support look like? It's about creating all this knowledge, putting it together, and I like to call it into pearls of wisdom. So why they like to teach is they want to share these pearls of wisdom with you. And that's how they help people solve problems.
That's definitely a secret.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The pearls of wisdom.
the
They
pearls of
love to
wisdom.
do that.
Yeah. One Earth person said to me a few years ago, it's like I take all this stuff and it's like ingredients in a cake batter and I put it all in and then I stir it all up and then I go bake this pearl of wisdom. Like I come out with this cupcake and I give it to you and it's from my heart and it's like, here's what you need to know. So that's, how they solve problems. They
With cupcakes, that
with
is very
cupcakes.
smart. That is very smart.
That can solve a lot of problems socially. It's a
socially.
great way to solve problems.
Oh, you're really sad? Here's a cupcake.
Here's a cupcake. It'll cheer you up.
Yeah. Going through a tough time? Here's a cupcake.
So if you think about how they do that, that's why the analysis, the taking it apart, the breaking it down into the individual ingredients is so important because in order to make that cupcake, they need to understand what's going on. They need to look at it from all the angles. And so that's what they do. And, sometimes this is like ways that they do this for in their career. So, we know Earth people who make giant reports for a living. They solve big institutional problems because they're really good at gathering all the data, maybe speaking to all the stakeholders, and then, taking that and putting that in the cake batter and then, going to the head of the institution.
Here's your $1 million cupcake.
Yeah, here's your $1 million cupcake. There you go.
Please take it and enjoy it and save the world.
Yes, there you go.
I see that's similar and different than the wood, solving problems versus overcoming challenges. I can see that now that we've
Yeah.
kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
It's similar but different.
Yep. And so
But we both love cupcakes.
yes, that's true. And if we think about,
But wait, the wood cupcake just has to be a little bit bigger.
there you go.
Just a little bit bigger than the wood person had those when the muffins got really big.
Yeah.
Like, that was like,
Super size.
yeah, my muffins had to be just a little bit bigger. That was a wood person. And the earth person's like, well, mine are made with love.
Yeah, there you go.
I love cupcakes.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up.
I know, right?
But if you think about what's really happening here with the cupcakes is that there's a transformation happening. We go from these individual ingredients that, baking soda or baking powder is useless without other ingredients.
Like love,
Yeah. So they take
thoughtfulness,
Yes.
all those ingredients.
Yes. They also don't interrupt.
I'm just doing that to see how long it would take you to get your earthly, riff out that card.
I thought that
Yellow
was
card.
funny.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you look at all of this, of what we're talking about, this is about a transformation. Earth is in charge of transformational processes. So if, baking powder by itself is kind of useless to us. Like we're never going to just whip out the baking powder and start chowing down on it. It's pretty disgusting.
Apparently you've tried that.
No.
I don't know if I have, but
But if you add other ingredients and you mix it up, that's a transformational
love,
process. Yes.
thoughtfulness.
Yes. And you start to create something amazing out of those ingredients. It's like the way the trees and the plants of the world take in all the air and the sun and the water. Those are the
And they make
ingredients.
fruits and they make things.
Yeah,
That's like magic.
for all of us. So
Yep.
that's the transformation that we're talking about. And that is the earth realm. They are the ones who do this magic with everything.
If you think about apple trees and fruit trees, they grow these beautiful, all the fruits, and they don't say, they're just like, there, take them. They don't say, pay me or whatever. They just like, take them if you need it.
Yes. And so
Right. I love that.
That's wonderful. So I just wanted to say before we get into telling everyone about some of the celebrities that they're also very sensual. And it's like they look sensual. They're like alluring. They wear flowy clothes. And so when we're starting to look at people out in the world who are earth, let's just take a moment and say, what's the fashion like?
Do not mention the P word.
What's the P word?
I'm not. If I say that, then that was a trick, and I did not fall for it. I did not say poncho. Red card.
Red card.
Red poncho card.
Well,
No,
it's
comfy
true though.
jeans.
Those flowy clothes have a lot of similarities to the poncho. So even if it's not a poncho, it's those sleeves that have like dropped armpit areas. Like they're like looser and they flow. And sometimes they like to really look comfortable because that's also an earth thing. So they might wear like comfy jean jackets, comfy shirts. But when they dress up, they're like, maybe like the high heels and the flowy clothes and maybe leggings.
So they can go from high heels to flip flops and Uggs.
Yeah.
Remember
Yes.
Jennifer Aniston, who is Earth?
Yeah.
She did the Uggs all year round.
Yes.
It like changed the world.
It
Like-
did. Yeah.
Like summertime and she's wearing Uggs.
Yeah,
Like,
comfortable and casual. That's sort of one, style. And then the other style is when it's dressy, it's very flowy.
yeah, and barefoot. They love to go barefoot.
They love to go barefoot.
Okay, so let's do the celebrities since we just mentioned Jennifer Aniston. We have Margot Robbie, Maya Rudolph, Kristen Wiig, Lisa Kudrow, Kerry Washington, Shakira, Adele, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Christina Aguilera, Nora Jones, Mary J. Blige, Diana Ross, Donna Summer, Rachel Price, Alicia Keys, Erykah Badu, Elizabeth Gilbert, and our poster child, Earth person that we love so much, Brené Brown.
Brené Brown. And Brené
Yay.
Brown wore a jean jacket in her famous.
Over like the poncho.
Yes, in her famous YouTube.
Yes, she gets the Jean Jacket Hall of Fame
Yes.
award. And then for the men leader, why don't you do the men? It's not a big list.
No, and we have Javier Bardot, Zachary Quinto, Pedro Pascal.
Who's really, really hot right now, like in
Yeah.
the world. He's like setting it on fire.
Yes, and he's so earth. It's so perfect. You got to watch him if you haven't seen him off screen. He's definitely earth. Bono, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Franti, Jared Leto, Santana, Sam Cooke, Lionel Richie, Al Green.
And if anyone's out there, we're always looking to add to the male earth. They're just not, they kind of like, and I think in this world, this modern world, it kind of gets pushed to the second element. So you might see the more, macho-y stuff, but they're out there for sure.
Yes.
So if you can always send them to us, we'd be happy to take a look if you think we'd love to add to that list.
Yes. And so let's just take a look at how earth people are in the world. And we've done this with each element.
How they move energetically?
How they move energetically. So just like with the other elements, we're going to talk about how elements move through the world energetically. So just like Shakira says.
Shakira. You got to say it twice.
Yes.
Shakira.
In the earth element, we're looking at the earth person's hips. And the hips don't lie. They move side to side. So if you're watching to see if someone's earth, look to see if the hips move side to side.
And I always like to say the exaggerated example is also Beyonce. When she comes across the stage,
Yes.
like that is just like this powerful,
Yes.
it's earth and wood, but
Yeah.
it's just like this. And they don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But it's a very recognizable motion for sure.
And remember that sensuality. So, Beyonce does have wood second, so it's a bit more of a march. But if you look at other earth people, there's a sensuality to the way they move, the hips moving side to side, their arms, maybe are more flowy. So you have to look at, how they move all together, and their feet solidly connect to the ground. It's not a stomp like wood, but it's like loving to have your bare feet in the ground.
Yeah. And, they have that Buddha belly, that roundness about them,
Yes.
even though if it's tiny little belly.
Yeah.
But still, it's like this roundness, this softness.
Yeah, all the energy is actually centered in the belly. So the belly has to be sort of, a lot of our society, we're sucking in our guts. This is not the earth realm. And, maybe people wear girdles still and try to keep it in.
They call them Spanx now.
They call them Spanx, yes.
Not a girdle. What are you like in the
dating myself.
30s? Like, get out your girdle. We're going to go out on town and watch the horse and buggy go down the street.
But I'll bet a girdle and Spanx was invented by an earth person because their bellies naturally stick out. It has to be that way. That's the center of all their energy. So, just in case, you are trying to watch someone, also look for a rhythm, a cadence. Again, Beyonce's walk, it has a cadence. It has a rhythm to it. It's Earth on a mission because she's got the wood second, but it's definitely got this like back and forth rhythm to it.
Yeah, I think it's great. So that's the walk. And again, if you're starting to learn the walks on the 5 elements, you can eliminate easily. So Earth is a good one to see and eliminate.
Yes. And then let's talk about the voice, because the Earth voice is a lullaby voice. We also call it a storytelling voice, but it's the kind of storytelling that conveys important thoughts and ideas, and yet it sounds soothing. It could almost put you asleep. It's like storytelling for children. It's like, hey, kids, here, we're going to tell you a story. And by the end, half the kids are asleep.
Which is probably the point.
Yes. And it's got that rhythm to it. That's what's soothing. That's what helps you sort of fall asleep. So we call this a circular voice, a singing voice. It's like, anyway. So it goes up and down gently. And so it sounds a little bit like a song. And then in terms of its cadence, again, it's very rhythmical. So they might say a sentence. They might say a sentence up and down. And then the next sentence is also up and down. And then the third sentence is also up and down. The same kind of rhythm. Did you fall asleep?
I thought it was nap time. Yes, that was so nice. That's fantastic. All right, let's do the eyes.
Yes. So we say that the eyes are like doe eyes, like Bambi eyes. They're round and open. And it's like they're trying to listen to you with their eyes. They're really just taking you all in. And it's important to distinguish it from water eyes, which we haven't covered yet. But water eyes sometimes can look that open, but they're very intense. This is soft, open eyes. So they're opening their eyes and their ears so they can hear you. They might even tilt their head and listen with their head cocked so that they can hear you better. And they might even pull their hair back so their ears, they're kind of showing you, I'm really listening. And sometimes they even knit their eyebrows together to show concern about all the problems and the hard work.
But they don't poke themselves in the eyes with the needles?
No. Where did you get that idea?
Because you knit their eyebrows?
Oh, with the knitting needles.
With the knitting needles.
No, they don't.
I've never heard knit their eyebrows before.
You don't know? Okay, so you don't know what knitting your eyebrows?
Is that the 11s? Bringing in
yes,
the 11s?
that's the 11s.
Okay, maybe those are the needles. I don't know.
There you go.
Wow. Okay, that was great. Minus the knit the eyebrows. Thank you for educating me on that.
So if we look at what is challenging for Earth people.
Yeah, we got to give up some secrets here.
Yeah.
We're getting into this and we're almost done.
We're getting to the secrets. So the big secret is they can give and give and give. And sometimes they forget to actually refill. And then their tank can be empty.
Yeah, they don't like to nourish themselves.
Yes.
That's a secret for sure. They come last on the nourish pole.
And it's a big problem. I'm going to use the word problem because it's an Earth podcast, an Earth episode. It's a big problem because if their tank is empty, they're going to not be able to continue to give. And that is huge for them. They have to give and give and give. So what do they have to do? They have to remember to receive.
Otherwise, they could get a little itchy around the house.
Yes, itchy
right?
with
if
a
that
B.
tank gets empty and you're not, they can't give anymore and they're not covering your back. Oh my.
Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to say that one of the simple things that a lot of earth people do is
here's a secret. I know where you're going.
they take a bath.
I knew it. I ding, 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 ding. I knew it.
For some reason, which is not understood fully by me, they immerse themselves in water and that refuels them.
Yeah.
It's a quiet, meditative state. They shut the door, all the kids in the family.
Well, think about it. No one can bother. I'm in the bath. Go away.
Yeah, that's it. It's time for them. It doesn't have to be hours and hours. It's, maybe 20 minutes, but they get to be by themselves. They get to have that water kind of nourish them again because they kind of got dried out from all that giving. So they're refueling and they feel so much better after
So
the
if
bath.
you're earth out there, take a bath.
Yes.
You'll feel better.
Yes. And so now getting back to what you're saying, Jay, is sometimes they're putting everyone else before themselves so much that resentment can kind of set in. And that's because people get used to them giving and giving and they forget to thank them. So we often say that all it takes is a little show of your appreciation. It's just something simple, that one thing that person needs.
How about thoughtfulness given back to them?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're thoughtful and kind and giving and caring.
Right.
All the things that they do all the time.
Like if you're in the doghouse and you're coming home to your earth spouse and you want to pick up flowers, okay? It's like, oh, flowers, that's a good idea, right? Well, you better show up with the kind of flower they actually like.
Yeah.
Like they want you to remember and be thoughtful and find the flowers they love. If it's yellow roses, then by gosh, it should be yellow roses, not red ones.
No, because they'll be like, meh.
Yeah.
Insincere.
Yeah.
Yellow card.
So it's a little bit of resentment that can set in when people aren't doing their fair share, but also they're not being thankful for all that earth is doing. And when that happens, they might start to keep things. This is another secret. They might start not to give as much. And so they're keeping everything to themselves. And when they stop giving, that's not good because they have all this stuff to give. And it's like a backup of giving, or what we would call constipation in the digestive system.
There we go. Okay. Yes.
But think about it. You're feeding yourself all the time. You have all these wonderful gifts to give. And then you just are resentful and you just stop doing it. Well, now you're actually going to have physical constipation probably.
And you're probably, again, itchy with a V. Again.
Yes.
Like, because you're just like, ah.
Yes.
Because everyone who gets constipated,
Yep.
right? They just want it to move again. I'm
Right.
guessing.
Right. So, so sometimes they can also be called steamrollers or bulldozers because they move earth. And so in those cases, itchy with a B, maybe something needs to change. They've identified a problem and now they're going to push all that earth. They're earth on a mission. If you think about a mother bear and her cubs, sometimes something has to change.
They will do anything to protect those cubs.
Yes. So if they're complaining about something that's really important to the kids, for example, that doesn't mean they're complainers. Sometimes they get typed as complainers. That means this is really serious, guys, and we're going to steamroll this and bulldoze this and move that earth to make a change. So it's different. Wood people, again, similarity with wood. Wood is all about change. Wood makes change happen all the time. But this is more earth solving problems and moving things in a very kind of, again, like a bulldozer moving
Earth movers.
Yeah.
They're
there you
actually
go.
called earth movers.
Yeah, they're actually called earth movers. So again, this all can add up to not only just that feeling of holding back or getting too overexhausted. Sometimes it gets to the point where earth gets overwhelmed. And this is one of the earth secrets as well. it's kind of paralysis from overanalysis. So they sometimes get stuck in the problem itself. There isn't a solution that's apparent. They've overanalyzed it all the time, and they can't do anything about
Are
it.
they ruminating?
They're ruminating.
There's no roomy in ruminating.
Right.
They're not pulling any wisdom out.
No. It's like a cow just ruminating in the field.
There we go.
No one's helping them. They're just stuck on it and going over it and over it.
That is
and
not
over
a
it.
happy place for Earth people.
Yes. And sometimes they feel unwanted or even unneeded. And that also can sort of bring them down. So these are all the challenges for Earth.
Yeah, I'm like, meh, meh, meh.
So,
Let's talk about some happy things.
Yeah. So if you have an Earth friend, just for the heck of it, ask them to help you with something. Boy, just watch their face light up. They love to help. That's what they do.
But be sincere.
Yeah. And when you ask, don't be in a rush for the results. If you're wood, you have to genuinely want their information, and it's going to be something that's thoughtful. It's going to take a little bit of time to explain to you, or maybe they're going to go check it out for you.
I love working with Earth people because they can solve problems that I do not have the patience for.
Exactly.
And I trust them, and I'm like, you can go work it out, and I will take your word for it. Go.
Yes.
That's fantastic. It's a great combination for getting a lot of shit done.
Yes. And remember, they can solve their own problems. You don't have to solve them for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. One of the ways they sometimes need your help, this is another secret, is they need to talk about their problems in order to solve them. Sometimes it's kind of a jumble in their head, and they need a sounding board. They need someone to talk it out with. Maybe another Earth friend is what they need. So if you're Earth and you're not getting anyone to do that with you, go call up your Earth friend, someone who can really listen. And all you need is the time to talk about all the angles on this problem, to really analyze it. And by the end of the conversation, you'll feel better because you worked it out in your own mind.
They already know the answer before they even start. They just have to process it out.
Yes, exactly. They need to figure out how this answer, which maybe they don't like, is going to work out. So that's sort of a really good way to look at one of the ways that you can help Earth people is giving them that sounding board.
So what do they really want? What is their motivation, Lita? What do they love to do that makes them happy?
Well, they love listening, and they love to validate others, and they encourage others, and they uplift others to feel good by helping someone feel understood. But they also want that for themselves. They want someone to validate them. They want someone to listen to them. And they love to be in a community. So this is something that they want to spread out into the world with other people. So they invest so much of themselves into their relationships with all their children, their parents, their friends, their coworkers, because they're really just trying to give what they want, which is, I guess the best way to say it, Jay, is that feeling like you got me.
Yeah,
like when you've been heard,
like
it's
they
like,
get me. Or,
it's
they
like
get me, you got me.
You get me. It's like feeling deeply known through the connection.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's really great. And they love connection.
Yeah. So it's connection through the mind, through listening, hearing, validating. It's a mental process. So Earth is very much the realm of the mind. And the evolution for Earths is not to always need validation from outside of yourself. What if you could validate yourself? Because, the other four elements out there, they're just not as good at validating as the Earths are. And so sometimes you're chasing that validation down. But
I think that when I work with Earth people, that's probably number one. Once you get through all the other, the irritations of their life, this is the one.
yeah.
This is the one.
And yes, it's great when someone else gets you. But for you to listen to yourself, to get yourself, to not need anything else from anyone else because you get yourself, that's really magical. That's when all your needs will be fulfilled by some kind of divine power. It's like surrendering a little bit, and
Sure.
it does take a little trust.
Yes, with a capital T. Different than the water trust with a capital T.
Yeah, trust that if you listen and validate yourself and you give and receive, you're going to stay in balance. So you don't need other people to satisfy this. these feelings that you have, these needs that you have, no one else now will disappoint you, because disappointment's a big secret for Earth. A lot of Earth, it's about feeling disappointed that people aren't doing it for you, what you're doing so well for everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's fulfilling your own needs, taking in all the goodness of the universe, no longer needing to withhold anything from anyone else out of like resentment, and just like going out in the world and, being able to move and shake the world,
Yeah.
basically.
So thank you, Earth people, and for just doing your thing and making the world a more harmonious, thoughtful place to live in, right?
Definitely. So we like to say, be proud of your place in the elemental world, even as a supporting, person. If you step into your power, you and everyone else around you will succeed. It'll be like this amazing force in the world. It really is a force of love and harmony and goodness. And then maybe be a little gentle on you and those around you.
Yeah. You are like the elemental glue that holds everything together.
Yeah.
Like nothing would work without Earth.
I mean, literally, we'd all fly off the planet without the Earth.
Right. And if you go really quick, I know we're really long here. If you talk about the 9 palaces, Earth element gets 1 palace. It's the home palace with a capital H. It's the connection to divine. It's the one,
Yeah.
like the most important one.
Right. So
you
if
get
you're,
that, Earth.
I love that you brought that up, because if Earth is totally 100% focused on the family and the friends, they forget to focus on themselves and their own connection to spirituality, their home. So whether it's, taking a bath regularly, going for a nice nature walk, whatever you need to do to take a little time for yourself, maybe solo, because when you're with other people, you forget about yourself. Take that time and connect with that home palace.
Yeah. You've earned it. You deserve it. I love that, leader. That's a perfect place to end there. Go on a walk. Put your little headphones on. Listen to this podcast. Love yourself, because we love you unconditionally.
Unconditionally. All right.
Have a good day.
Bye. Bye.
You've been listening to the Inspired Action Podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there? We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at lita@inspiredactionpodcast.com or jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.